TitleMatchNetwork.com.
Now, do you think when WWF asked you to work for FMW, do you think they did that to try to make you quit?
Well, Rob, how'd you know about it? Yeah. I tell you what, Rob, is the whole story behind the gist of it. Let me get to the nitty-picky stuff. Is, you know, if anybody's ever had a torn hamstring and torn butt muscle, you don't come back just like that. It took me a while, and I trained hard because I just don't lay down. And main thing, a lot of boys have done it in our business, and sat there and just collected their paycheck and stayed home. I can't do that, man. I'm a true legend in what I do, and like I said, I put W in wrestling, and I'm a wrestler. When I got hurt, that was a challenge for me to come back and to prove myself, and I did. I came back. I was weighing about 285, 290 when it all happened, and I came back at like 249. I was cut to shred, eating right. I was training right, trying to get my legs. You know, most doctors will tell you that if you stitch a muscle, 50% will tear it again. You know, it's just like a stitch on a shirt. It's easier to rip open, right? So, what was you asking me? Well, I forgot the question.
About FMW.
FMW.
Right.
Sorry, I got off on this. So, you know, here I did everything possible to get back in shape, and all of a sudden that UPN channel came up.
SmackDown.
You know, SmackDown, right? And they worked me right in that deal. They said, get ready, man, you know. We're going to put you in a SmackDown, you know, we'll get you ready. And Jim Ross goes, you think maybe you could go to a ring and video your workouts and so we can see how you're looking? I said, what, Jim? 19 years in the business, man. You want me to go and get videoed in the ring? I said, whatever it takes, brother. I want to get back in the ring, okay? So I went over to Dallas to a buddy of mine, Cedric of Hollywood, who has a gym and a ring. And I got in there and we'd work it and video it and I'd send it to him and everything. They was all pulling, you know, UPN channel. So all of a sudden, then they called me up and they says, we want you to go to our doctor to get cleared.
Right.
I've never been cleared. You know, when I got hurt, they never sent me a doctor. I went to my doctor, who was top orthopedic doctor, sports doctor there, Dr. Bunder. Well, they never cleared it, never was on a written paper or anything that I was cleared. So I had to go over to Birmingham and see Dr. Andrews, their doctor,
Right.
to get cleared. Well, he saw what I had, torn butt muscle and a hamstring, and he goes to me, he says, yeah, it's up to you. It's not up to me. Do you want to go back to work? I said, yeah, doc. I want to go back to work. I don't want to sit at home no more. I want to go do what I do, and I love to do. So he said, I'm going to clear you then. So he cleared me, boom. Jim Ross got his paperwork from the doctor and everything. A week later, I get a phone call from Bruce Prichard. Bruce Prichard said, we want you to go to Japan and wrestle for FMW. I said, well, Bruce, I really wouldn't like to go back. You know, I signed with WWF for 3 years. I'd like to stay here, you know. So, as I just put it, the wording was really technical on here. See, I said I wouldn't like to go. Well, the next day I got a fax from their lawyer saying that I breached the contract because I told him I wasn't going to go.
Right.
So I get on the phone with Jim Ross. Jim, what's going on, man? Why are you guys doing this? I got a family to take care of. I got to feed my kids, you know. And he says, well, they said Bruce called you and said you demand that you weren't going. I said, no. I wouldn't like to go back. I signed a contract with you guys. I want to stay here and work with you guys. Bottom line was, I wasn't going to go back to Japan and work for a different company.
Right.
When I worked with the top NFL, just like the NFL, All Japan, I wasn't going to, that would have hurt me.
Right.
You know, so I seen what they were doing, and I knew no matter what, if they couldn't use me with WWF, they're just going to screw me back over in All Japan by making me work for another company. Well, make the long story short, for $1 million. That's what I got screwed out of. Okay. As you guys probably know, I got at the same time I got hit up for the Deadbeat Dad Case, where a girl pointed her finger and said I was the father of a 13-year-old kid. Well, that cost a lot of money. It cost me $100,000 to prove that I was innocent. I had to take 2 DNA tests to prove that I wasn't. Make a long story short, again, we're going to get technical on this lawyer stuff. To go back and fight Vince McMahon, who's got buck money, got bunches. I just lost $100,000 to lawyers to prove that I wasn't a girl's father of her child. Here I am looking at WWF where they owe me $1 million. And the only way I can fight them is if I have some more money in my pocket to go back to fight them, to get a guy, a middleman. It's obligation or some kind of technical
litigation.
Arbitration.
Arbitration, thank you very much. He's the middleman who listens to both the stories, and then they go to court. Well, I had to pay him a bunch of money right off the bat. Well, after the $100,000, that meant more to me to prove that I wasn't the father of a child.
Right.
Because I already got 2 kids and a wife, right? So I fought that until I lost all my money. And couldn't fight WWF, so really I lost $1 million out of the whole deal with WWF. So in 1 year, I've regained myself and tread water where I'm still trying to regain what I lost. But, I learned a lot from my mistakes. Well, it wasn't my mistake, but I learned from the mistakes what happened to me in my life. And I'll tell you one thing I believe in, and it's said in the Bible. Do unto others as you'd like them to do unto you. Because whatever they've done to you, it's going to turn around and bite them right back on the booty. And I promise you. Because I did with WCW. I came back, WCW called me up and said, hey, you want to do this Jim Ross Oklahoma deal? And I said, sure, man, this is my figure, $50,000. What they screwed me out of.
Right.
I got my $50,000. It always comes back. I don't care what anybody says. Good man, Bo.
Now, did Jim Ross ever call you during the time you went to WCW and did that deal?
Oh, no. I just talked to Jim Ross for the first time about a month ago.
Did you guys settle things up? Or?
No, there was no settle. I didn't talk about nothing. I'm booking for All Japan. I was trying to get some of his boys to work the Dome show.
Right.
Well, the only thing Jim Ross could talk about is, how about them Boomer Sooners? How about them Boomer Sooners? A mark for the Sooners. It's great, man. We got a turnaround, it's great.
Right.
Why don't you ask me about how my family is from you hit me off $1 million to my family, where he sat on a telephone for 2 hours convincing my wife that I should go to WWF. Think about what he did to my children, that I'm having to go out here. I've got a torn hamstring, torn butt muscle. And we shooting now, cameras, because I mean it. Jim Ross lamed me for the rest of my life. I've got a torn hamstring and torn butt muscle. I lost $1 million. Where I'm 40, I could have been retired in a couple of years because I know what to do with my money, But now I'm waiting, like we was talking before. You always need a wrestler. It's going to come down to that.
Right.
They're going to have to make that phone call again.
TitleMatchNetwork.com